Here you go. A powerful hook, an intro with CTA, and a 10-paragraph emotional, suspenseful, 2,000-word YouTube-style story perfectly matching your title and tone for tales and turns. She walked into her high school reunion wearing a simple blue dress, the same kind of dress they teased her for years ago. The room went quiet, then the snickers began. They thought she was still the poor girl they used to mock. But when a black Rolls-Royce pulled up outside, and the most powerful billionaire in the city walked in, kissed her hand, and said, "Sorry I'm late, darling." Every face in that room changed. And what he did next didn't just silence the bullies. It changed one man's life forever. Before we dive into this unforgettable story, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe to Tales and Turns for more emotional, inspiring stories. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. We love seeing our family from all around the world. She never planned to attend the reunion. For Anna, high school wasn't a place of memories. It was a place of survival. Back then, she was the girl with worn shoes, hand-me-down clothes, and a mother working 2 jobs. She spoke softly, carried books instead of handbags, and cared more about dreams than popularity. Her classmates didn't see her heart. They only saw what she lacked. But her best friend insisted she go, telling her, "Show them you survived." So she arrived quietly, hoping she could blend into a corner and leave without being noticed. But life, as she would learn that night, had very different plans. The moment she stepped in, laughter erupted. Not warm laughter, but that sharp, familiar kind that cuts deeper than words. A group of former classmates eyed her from across the room, while still shopping from the discount rack. One murmured loud enough for the room to hear. Another whispered, "She probably Ubered here on a loan." Anna forced a smile, even though her palms were shaking. She reminded herself that she was no longer that broken girl, no matter how loudly their voices echoed from the past. But old wounds bleed easily when touched. She tried to ignore the comments and headed to the refreshment table, but the whispers followed her like shadows. A woman named Melissa, once the queen of the school, now queen of gossip, stopped her. "Anna, you came. I thought you'd be too busy." The tone said exactly what the words didn't. Melissa looked her up and down, smirking at her simple dress. Anna breathed in slowly. She told herself she could endure it for 1 hour. Just 1 hour. That was the plan, until a familiar vibration buzzed her phone. A message: "Love, I'm 10 minutes away. Don't go anywhere." Her heart skipped. He came. Outside the venue, a hush fell as headlights swept across the entrance. Not just any car, a Rolls-Royce Phantom, polished like a mirror. The chauffeur stepped out first, opening the back door with a precision that demanded respect. Gasps spread through the crowd at the windows. Whispers sharpened. "Oh, is that a minister? A celebrity?" Anna didn't move. She stayed inside, still battling the tremble in her hands, until the doors swung open again, and he walked in. Ethan Hale, billionaire industrialist, founder of Hale Innovations, a man whose face lived in magazines, boardrooms, and economic reports. And he walked straight to Anna like the rest of the world didn't exist. He reached her, took her hand gently, and kissed it. "Sorry I'm late, darling," he said with a soft smile, brushing his thumb over her knuckles. The room froze. Melissa's jaw dropped so fast it was almost comedic. Someone whispered, "Is that Ethan Hale?" Another muttered, "It can't be. Why would he be with her?" Ethan heard it, and instead of ignoring it, he straightened, lifted Anna's chin, and said loud enough for everyone, "Because she is the best thing that ever happened to me." The words pierced through every sneer in the room. Anna felt her chest tighten, not from embarrassment this time, but from a pride she had long been denied. The reunion host awkwardly invited them to join the main table, suddenly showering Anna with a respect that wasn't there minutes earlier. People scrambled to pull out chairs, offer drinks, strike up friendly conversations. But Ethan wasn't fooled. Neither was Arnold. They sat together, and he held her hand under the table, squeezing it gently whenever an old classmate tried too hard to sound impressed. The same people who once called her nobody were now desperate to be noticed by her. She smiled politely, but her heart stayed guarded. Years of pain don't vanish in a single night, no matter how brightly you glow today. But the real turning point came when Melissa approached the table with her husband, Jason. Once the school's arrogant golden boy, he had mocked Anna most viciously, calling her invisible Anna. Tonight, he stood in front of her with a glass of wine and a smirk. "So, Anna," he started, "how does one go from, where you were to this?" He gestured toward Ethan. "Accident. Luck." Ethan leaned forward, ready to speak, but Anna placed a hand on his arm. She met Jason's eyes calmly. "But working harder than people who thought they already won," she said softly. A few people nearby turned. The air shifted. Tension thick, electric. Jason scoffed, rolling his eyes, but his wife nudged him sharply, whispering something that made him go pale. Ethan stood then, his voice steady but commanding. "I'd like to say something." The room turned silent. "All of you see what she has now, but none of you know what she gave me. When I met Anna, I was drowning, in stress, in pressure, in loneliness. She didn't care about my money, my success, or what the world thought of me. She cared about me. She saved my life." Gasps rippled. Anna's breath caught. Ethan wasn't dramatic. He was honest. Brutally, beautifully honest. And then, the unexpected happened. Jason, who had mocked her for years, who had laughed at her simple ways, slowly stepped forward. His voice cracked when he spoke. "Anna, I'm sorry." The room turned again. Jason swallowed hard. "I was horrible to you. Back then and even now. I don't know what I was trying to prove." Melissa stared at him like she'd seen a ghost. "Seeing you tonight," he continued, "it made me realize something. Confidence isn't loud. Riches aren't real if they make you cruel. You were stronger than all of us, even then." His eyes shimmered with a sincerity that no one expected, including Anna. Anna stood slowly. She had every right to humiliate him, to spit back the cruelty he once gave her. But she didn't. Instead, she placed a hand on his shoulder gently. "Thank you," she whispered. "We all grow. Some just take longer." Her grace disarmed the entire room. Ethan's eyes softened with admiration, and even Melissa blinked back tears she didn't want to show. The reunion, once filled with smug laughter and old wounds, now felt strangely still, like everyone there had been forced to confront something inside themselves. Not because of money, not because of status, but because of character. When the night ended, Ethan wrapped his arm around Anna as they walked out. The air outside was cool, carrying the faint hum of the city. She leaned into him, whispering, "I didn't expect any of that." He kissed the top of her head. "That's because you don't see what I see," he said. "You don't see how powerful you are." As the driver opened the door, Anna glanced back at the reunion hall. The same place that once broke her now stood behind her. Small, insignificant. She smiled softly, knowing she wasn't just leaving a building. She was leaving every cruel word, every doubt, every scar that tried to define her. And as the car pulled away, she finally believed something she never allowed herself to before. She had always been enough.